2015 meant some big changes for Louisiana, a transition of power, a new governor elected to lead the state. John Bel Edwards was the first Democrat to win that post in 12 years and becomes the only member of his party to serve as governor in the Deep South.
The people have chosen hope over scorn, over negativity.
The win in November was hard fought, and the victory for Edwards meant a career-ending defeat for longtime Senator David Vitter.
I'd reached my personal term limit.
WDSU News closely covered all the angles of the election.
Live from the heart of New Orleans, inside Studio B at WDSU.
And hosted a debate featuring all the leading candidates. 10 years after Hurricane Katrina, WDSU put a spotlight on the youngest generation to endure the storm and its aftermath.
It was a generation that could have been lost.
It's almost like a nightmare. You just want to wake up.
But instead found a way to move forward.
Many of New Orleans' youth not only survived, they thrived.
Katrina didn't hinder my dreams.
Our documentary, Chronicled Children of Katrina, showcases the triumph of the will when so much was lost. WDSU also produced 5 30-minute specials, each with a specific Katrina-related focus. We delved into neighborhoods that have been left behind and focused as well on the positive to show just how much the region has grown in the 10 years since the storm left its mark on the city and surrounding areas. In one of our specials, we saluted the heroes of the storm, men and women who put the lives of others first. Crime again left its mark on our community in 2015.
Randy, let me show you. That is the SWAT team van down the street right there.
The killing of New Orleans police officer Holloway, one such act.
A lot of people looked up towards him. The community looked up towards him.
The search for his killer back in June sparked a citywide manhunt.
Take a look behind me. We're just off of Franklin Avenue, and right here you can see in the last 10 minutes, police and SWAT team members especially.
WDSU news crews were live with the search and the eventual capture of a suspect.
This is video you can only see here on WDSU. This is video of Boy shortly after his arrest.
We also broadcast the funeral procession for Officer Holloway live, paying respect to the fallen officer. And when terror struck the heart of Acadiana, WDSU news crews mobilized.
The gunman was sitting in the front of the theater.
There's about 3 area hospitals actually that those 9 surviving victims were taken to.
They don't know if they'll ever feel comfortable again going into a theater.
2 women were killed inside of a movie theater. The shooter took his own life. Our crews were on the ground with reports from the scene.
Still trying to piece this together.
And from the hospitals where the injured were taken. WDSU also continued a Lundi Gras tradition along the riverfront. It's a pretty busy day here. Welcome to this special Lundi Gras edition of WDSU News at 4 o'clock. We kicked off the carnival finale with the meeting of the courts. For a 3rd year, our teams broadcast live from Oldenburg Park. That's where the crew of ZULU arrives aboard a Coast Guard cutter.
Camille, well, we are rolling, heading your way to Waldenburg Park. Joining me, the 2015 King and Queen of ZULU.
Then meets with the King of Carnival, Rex, and his queen. And on Mardi Gras, our crews were positioned across the city as crews rolled in New Orleans, in Metairie, and on the North Shore. For the first time, WDSU hosted a live telethon supporting Second Harvest Food Bank.
Most of them are struggling to just pay the bills.
During our 4, 5, and 6 o'clock newscasts, we raised money while telling stories of how the food bank touches lives and feeds families across Southeast Louisiana. In 2015, WDSU again partnered with Children's Hospital of New Orleans to raise money to help sick children across the Gulf Coast. Through our Children's Hospital Telethon and separate broadcast of the Jazz Half Marathon, we helped raise millions of dollars that will stay right here in Southeast Louisiana. WDSU is always prepared for hurricane season, and 2015 was no different. We helped educate viewers ahead of any storms with our special Get Ready Now. The 30-minute program explored new developments in the regional effort to minimize storm damage and shared essential information on home protection and possible evacuation. And goodbyes to cultural icons. 77-year-old Alan Toussaint passed away in November after a performance in Spain. And Chef Paul Prudhomme died 1 month earlier in October. He was 75. And I caught up with former Saints player Steve Gleason. He is immortalized for the block heard round New Orleans. But Gleason is facing a very different opponent these days, one more vicious than most will ever see. I was granted exclusive access to the Gleason home to share his story and show how he lives the fight against ALS as he champions to find a cure. Another busy year for WDSU. We thank you for your consideration of our entry for TV Station of the Year. I'm Scott Walker.